I think that company failed because he hired me. In hindsight, looking back, I think he could have done a better job hiring someone else. This was also to prove my family and for me, like, hey, I can actually make this as a career and pursue this, even if I don't have a bachelor's and I don't have to wait till bachelor's.
For 21-year-old to have done what you have already done, that's really cool.
The reason I got into AI was due to pure fascination of creating intelligence out of nothing. At the peak, we made close to like $5,000 per month.
A lot of people shit on me for giving programming proof for free in Nepal, right? We give it to colleges, schools, companies, whoever asks it for free. And then a lot of people are like, why are you giving your product for free? Why are you giving your product for free? Reason I give it for free in Nepal is maybe someone like Amit will find the product and learn coding from it and it will change their life, right? It is like me repaying my debt to the country. And then it benefits us. The more programmers, great programmers come out of Nepal, the more brand Nepal grows, the more the world trust program is as a Nepalese product, right?
Okay, recording. So, Amit, welcome. Welcome to, I think right now we can say welcome to a bit of our madness in Post AI Nation. So the primary objective why we do this is because there are a lot of conversations that happen in silos in the ecosystem. We want to bring it, talk about it more, nudge some conversations that are not really helpful for general AI adoption in Nepal. But then generally, it's just us talking, sharing ideas, and then seeing what we can add value to the ecosystem in general. So that's the lens that we'll come from. Amit, you have a fascinating story. Okay, you have a really really fascinating story. Like, I think you are very humble when you say it might not be so fascinating, but then like for a 21-year-old to have done what you have already done, that's really cool. So let's start from that. Let's start from where you're coming from, what you have done, because I think a lot of people follow you on LinkedIn for sure, but then there would be some people that this content will reach through on how you have went about building what you have done in the last 6 years in AI. Last 6 years in AI already. Yeah.
So coming to like the impact that I have made over the last 6 years, right? The reason I got into AI was due to pure fascination of creating intelligence out of nothing. The reason AI seemed interesting was because it felt hard. I think in 11th grade I started reading for the first time and I got fascinated with physics. And it was not by watching videos; it was just reading theoretical books. Coming from that, reading Reasoning Holiday and trying to do software engineering again after some break. Software engineering just didn't feel that mathematical imagination void in my brain. And what is harder than this? I today understand software is also very very hard as you scale and build. But at that scale, at that level where I'm just building crowd apps, it was not very fascinating. What is harder? I came across AI and I read a book on AI, just theoretical, because I have figured that I don't do things that I don't like. So first I need to understand why, and then I do the how and what I figure out as I go. So that is the reason why I started doing AI. It was harder and it had so much challenging thing, and for me that was fascinating. On a So what happened was I started reading. Now this reading is without any mentor, so it was like random spread of reading. Like I'm reading whatever I see, but I still have to answer why for me. So I started reading with Coursera's course like AI for Everyone to understand what AI is all about and how this has been applied. Because this is 2020 and 2019, 2020, and people have already started applying, right? And there were so many use cases that I was unaware of. So AI for Everyone course was good. Then I started looking into deep learning, and after I did deep learning, I realized, hey, there's also something known as data analysis. So there's data. How do you get data? How do you clean data? Data analysis. Then I realized, oh, there's also statistical models. It's not just deep learning. There were models before that. Then I go back to machine learning, and this is how I try random things, hit and try, and then I kind of get a grasp of here. I understand the entire thing. So it was lack of mentorship or lack of knowledge that led me to go through this rabbit hole of figuring things out, doing maths and everything. Uh, Now I wanted to apply this. This was out of two necessity. One was financial. I wanted to make money for my family, uh, because I was not seeing stability, and I want. This was COVID time, so this was also out of financial necessity. That hey, if I make my own money, I can be less reliable on my parents, and I can have more freedom, and I can also support my family. Another thing was, see, I have not made a lot of money through tech my whole life, and if I want to pursue this for my whole life, it needs to be sustainable. And that was the reasoning behind here. Let me start figuring out how to
What
make
is
money.
what is what is whole life in years at that point of time?
So I've been doing software for like 3 years at that point.
Okay, okay.
Like this is
This is
not.
still in 2020, right?
I'm in 11th grade. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. So not pure software per se, but just for the love of it, like building landing pages, HTML, CSS, Angular, Django, some basic stuff essentially at that point. Uh, so this was also to prove my family and for me, like, hey, I can actually make this as a career and pursue this even if I don't have a bachelor's and I don't have to wait till bachelor's. So that was the reasoning behind looking for, hey, can I make money? And then I tried to get internship. What's the way, right? You get internship and then you grow from there. That is how I thought. I applied for internship at one of Nepal's popular company, and I have this knack for getting people on calls. So I have a relentless nature of following up with people. I don't know. Even at that time, I knew that if I message someone on LinkedIn and or Facebook and say, "Hey, give me a call," and I'm reading AI and I want to work at your company, I thought they will agree. Like you message 100 people and at least like I don't think I messaged 100 people. I messaged like 20 people and at least one of them agreed. Great. So he agreed for an interview. He scheduled an interview with the CTO of that company, and I went on the interview and I flunked it. So this was my first time giving an interview. It was entirely in English. I was not very comfortable at that point, and one thing started, and it was like a boulder effect. Like you start missing one thing and you keep on missing a lot of things, and that like started my confidence. I was in this phase like, hey, I know everything. Then I went like, hey, I don't know anything. Uh, so then I thought, okay, I'm not going to do internship. Then I started reading. I solved everything I didn't know. I read a lot, and then I said, hey, let me do freelancing. Like maybe I can find someone on the internet that will give me a work. I had LinkedIn at this point, so I created a good profile. All the projects I have done at this till this point, like last 3 years, graphics designing, video editing, websites, browsers, everything that is there, I started adding, and then I posted, here I'm looking for a work. And someone said, here, let's give this kid a try. And then that someone is the CEO of this company called Alpen Labs today. Not the CEO, but one of the co-founders. And he gave me that opportunity. Thank you always for that. And I got my first $40. It was not the perfect solution I could have done, but he said, okay, he's child, so let's give him some money. I actually never got that money on cash because it was in Fiverr and never cashed out, and I lost my Fiverr account and that money never reached my account, but that was a proof. And then I posted again, hey, I have a 5-star rating on Fiverr, give me another job. And then I have this habit, right? I keep on like connecting with random people and just messaging them saying, hey, this you are doing something cool, and maybe we could talk. And one of this Madrid, some guy in Spain said, hey, I have something cool, but I don't think you can work on it right now, but I have a friend who can maybe hire you. And then he connected me with that guy and I did another job in Fiverr, and this time I made 200 euros. Great. So I was posting this, and then someone from again on LinkedIn, CEO of Nepal Can Move, said, hey, you are doing cool stuff, maybe we can do cool stuff together at our company. Nepal Can Move is a logistics company. They are pretty popular today, but I didn't even know at that point what logistics is and everything, right? So it was new for me. So I got to work there. I didn't think I didn't made any impact there. It was just 8 months of me learning and traveling the CEO with like questions and business and stuff like that. And I tried to build something. It was decent, it was not good. We tried to put it in production as well, but we figured out, hey, we are trying to solve the wrong problem with wrong amount of data. And then I went to Genis. uh, Genis, same thing. I was there for 3 months. The reason I left was they had a project, but which never came. And that was my first service company. I didn't know that used to happen, right? Because Nepal Can Move was a product company, and I didn't know that you stay in bins and don't do anything for some time. That didn't sit right with me, and there was no mentor for me. Then I jumped from there to Doximo in 3 months, and Doximo was where I think my foundation was set. Like, hey, this is how you do ML, this is how you do Python, even in general, right? How you build APIs, how you do anything essentially. So Doximo was great, but after 1 year, it started feeling like, hey, I don't think I'm doing enough. My love for AI, love for this tech was in general to solve problems. I think we are decently solving problems, but I'm only playing a small part in that. Um, if I have to start a company one day, who am I? Am I a CEO? Am I a CTO? What am I? I'm 19 at this point, and I'm questioning 18, 19 at this point. I'm questioning myself. Hey, if I were to find a co-founder, what do I find? Do I find a CEO? Do I find a CTO? I don't think I'm a CTO. Like now, do I become a CEO? I don't think I'm that as well. So what am I? I think that question led me to Bangalore. So that to answer that question, I went to Bangalore of like, hey, am I actually a very good technical person and can I actually figure out building products, not just AI? and GNI was also coming. So I went to Bangalore just to answer this question and figure out, am I even made for tech? I have not pushed myself hard enough, so I wanted to answer that. So I went to Bangalore. I convinced Oxford to increase my salary, saying, "Hey, I'll learn a lot and I'll grow at Bangalore office and I'll interact with people. I'll fill that void of like Nepal to Bangalore because I'll be there." And I convinced essentially the city, and he already knew, I think, that I'm going to leave after I get there, but he still gave me the opportunity to go to Bangalore. And in 3 months, I left to join this company as a founding engineer. Now that was very good decision looking in hindsight, but that journey was tough. So I was the first engineer, and I have never written front ends properly at that scale. Like I've not built apps per se. I've not done database very well so far. I don't know how to do structured database, how do you structure these things, right? How do you write big code bases? How do you do backend in general? He put me into it. Like he's the founder was a technical person himself, and he had worked for big Silicon Valley YC startups. And I was like, hey, I want to be at least 10% of you, and that's when I'm going to leave. So I actually went on my, so I took a risk at that time. My brother was with me. My brother is a aspiring cricket player, so he wanted also to be far away and have a place where he can learn a lot more about cricket. So I'm with my brother, he and me. We have only 1 lakh INR in savings, and I'm taking a pay cut to join this company. And I calculated the expenses. Bangalore was expensive. My brother had a lot of expenses. I calculated. I have 8 months of runaway. So after 8 months, I don't have any money. Like I'm done with my savings, and the only thing I can do is I live paycheck to paycheck. So I said, okay, I have 8 months. I'm going to make the most out of this 8 months. My brother, and everyone in my family was like, don't do this because you are making good at Doximo. Why are you even risking it, right? But I knew that if I don't do that, either I go and get my bachelor's. I've not done bachelor's till this point. Even today, I have not done a bachelor's. So that was the reasoning behind joining that company and validating. Should I go and take my bachelor's, or am I good enough already? So regardless of what everyone said, I joined them. Even Doximo CTO was like, I don't think it's a good call, but he was like, okay, if you really want to go and do all of this, I'll respect your decision, and we're happy to have you anytime you want to come back. So if you struggle at any point, just come back. So that door was open. So I went. The first day he asked me to build authentication and onboarding. Like for me, I thought it was simple, but then I messed up on authentication so many times at that company. I realized how crucial it is to build good authentication and good onboarding for B2C product. So that's how he introduced me to coding. Like Flutter, I've never done it, and he just asked me to build authentication, right? So 8 months it was, GNI was coming, so he made, I was everything, right? I was engineer, I was the only engineer, and he used to code sometimes, but he was also the founder, so he has marketing, sales. So he wanted me to do everything. I think that company failed because he hired me. In hindsight, looking back, I think he could have done a better job hiring someone else, and I think they would have done a better job. But he still hired me, and I think it was good for me but bad for him. But essentially I tried my best. I learned a lot and I messed up the code base. And by the end of it, we had to write the entire code base again. The entire backend we wrote again because we had made, even he didn't anticipate a B2C app to become this complicated. And I think we wrote the entire code base as I was leaving for I think in my notice period I was just writing and the new version of the code base for someone else to take over. But that entire 8 months of like 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, no sleeping, no exercise, nothing. uh, and we used to have 3 days sprint. So it's like every 3 days you have to sip something. That was like the most painful, but I implemented that at my own startup, and it was very good because so many things get done in 3 days sprint. And we used to do hackathon randomly, like a week hackathon, and you don't sleep, or at least sleep like 2 days in that 7 days or 5 days. So we did crazy things, but that taught me like how do you design systems better, how do you design before coding, how do you quickly code so that you can design better, everything, how do you architect the systems, and how do you ship at a speed that is unimaginable to a lot of my, even today, my friends, right? So we built a B2C finance. It was a B2C finance application. So we built auth, we built onboarding, we built open banking. So we're connecting with open banking data. This was for US market. So we connected open banking data. Um, we started like providing charts, insights, and then we started adding chat applications. So the idea was we have a chat application, which is a personal finance coach, like financial advisor to our consumers or users. So they could come chat, ask about their expenses, talk about their goals, help plan goals better, all through this chat interface, and it had access to all of the data. So that is what we wanted to make. I think we made a decent version of it, but we couldn't figure out marketing and customer acquisition. So even after 8 months, the plan was to will raise funds, but the fundraise didn't happen. My salary didn't increase, and I was out of money. And I think at this point, I had lost the. I was so burnt out and lost like the passion on this idea. So the reason I went was two things. It was tech, I learned tech, and the problem statement resonated with me because I've seen my family and other families struggle with money whole life, and I always had this like, hey, why are they not managing it better? Even as a child, I was like, hey, you have money, like don't waste it. Like I had this thought in my mind as a child. So I thought, hey, maybe this will solve this problem of like people not managing and struggling with money, living paycheck to paycheck, right? And that was the problem I connected with. At Doximo, I was not connecting with the problem statement. It was like a B2B thing, right? And the founders didn't communicate enough that, hey, we are automating bank statements processing, which means that people are getting loans faster. Maybe the founder didn't connect to that, and this founder was connecting me to that, and it was easy for him to connect with. It was a B2C application. At Doximo, I think I lost passion because it was automating businesses, but what are we getting at the end of it, right? Great, people are losing jobs, like things are streamlining, businesses are making money, but what's the end users can benefit? What how are we impacting their life, the customers of our customers, right? I think Doximo is doing that, but it's just that the communication was not there, and I was not able to imagine that. The tech part only just didn't excite me at the end of 1 year and 9 months. So this founder was connecting that, but I think even he got so busy that he stopped communicating that to me. Like it became like we are doing this for fundraise, and it didn't become like we are doing it for helping people manage their money better. And that was another reason I lost the passion. And I think I was good enough at this point. Technically, I was arrogant. I think I got this arrogance at that time, which I still carry to this day. That hey, if I can build this application in 8 months with zero knowledge, now with the knowledge I have today, like any good founder will be happy to have me. That was the arrogance I left that company with. I cracked another company in India, Bangalore, but I had this feeling that hey, I'm not connecting with. I'm not happy here. Like I've been in Bangalore for close to a year and more now, but I think I don't want Bangalore to be my permanent base. I someday want to go back to my home and don't stay my whole career here because I might be locked here. I had this feeling. So even though I cracked a company in Bangalore, I said, hey, why don't I join back Doximo? That will be my route back home. So I say going back to the Doximo CEO, and I demanded double the salary that I left at, and happily he increased it by like I think 75%. He didn't double it, he didn't make it 100%, but he increased by 75%. And I think this was arrogance, right? I was so confident in my abilities that I was just demanding salaries at this point. Like I know I'm good. That this is the arrogance I went with, and I think I don't know what he saw, but he tried the chat application as well, I think, and he saw what I had built, and they were doing GNI, so I think it felt like a perfect match. So I joined back. I was in Doximo while I left Bangalore. I came back. Then I got a US consulting client. The talk that I gave, right? Essentially at AIConf. This is the client I got, and then I started working for that client. And I think at this point again I started asking double salaries. So now this is the year I went from, let's say, X number to 10x number. So imagine in 1 year, and all of this happened. Technical interviews happened, but I was so arrogant in my abilities. I think even today I'm very confident that I started asking double the salary wherever I went. So I keep on asking double the salary, double the salary, double the salary, and this is where we are today. So this is the thing. And in the way, after I left that company, before while I was at Doxum, I started building Blintic AI. So the reason I started building Blintic AI was like I worked 8 months on this hyper-paced environment. I did everything. Did I even learn things? I was confident I could do it, but until and unless I coded it out and built a new product, I was not very confident. So that was the reasoning behind building Blintic. It was tick finding the problem, not a problem finding the tick, and that is I know today that was not a good idea, but that validated for me that hey, I can build a reliable product that is in production and makes money out of it. And it took, I think building it took like 3 or 4 months. Making money from it took like 7 8 months. The first dollar I broke with two co-founders during that time. Like I tried one co-founder. The thing was this: I was just focused on tech. I wanted someone else to handle the sales and marketing. I didn't want to do that. I wanted product and just tech, and I wanted to build a very good product. So I made that mistake of hiring co-founders and tried to sell my idea to them. And I think they tried their best, but the intensity I had already worked in that startup, right? This just couldn't match that intensity of mine. Like, I'm asking them to work every single day, 12 hours a day, not go out of her house, don't talk to their family. This didn't connect to that thing. And the first co-founder was just lazy. He was talented, but he was just lazy. He could not work with that intense. He could plan things good, but execution was not there. And if you don't execute at a startup, what, like, you, anyone can plan, right? If you don't execute, what's the point of it? The second co-founder tried to match my intensity, but I think we just had some. I was very arrogant that, hey, I'm not going to give my product for free, and he said we need to give the product for free. And I think I agree today that we should have given our product for free. At least then they know the value, right? Then they try it out, then they can give us feedbacks. So I think I was arrogant, sorry, that I quarreled with him that, hey, I can't give my product for free, that is no validation for me. And after he left, I started giving my
You
product for free.
doubles my
And then
salary
I added a,
in every job. How dare you ask me to give my product for free?
yes, yes. So then he, when he left, right, then I realized maybe he was not so wrong. Maybe it's a good idea to give it for free, right? Otherwise, why would you trust a product that two children's built in Nepal and pay money for it, right? We are trying to sell for US customers or Nepali customers. Why do you trust us, right? Give it for free at least for a month, right? So I think that was the reasoning that I started Blintic AI with a freemium model, where I gave a number of conversations. Blintic AI is a no-code customer support chatbot builder. So it's a platform where you can build chatbots. You can add them to your Instagram, TikTok, as well as your landing pages. Pretty simple. We scrape your websites, we index the RAG chatbot on your documents. We have escalation built in so that you can if anything escalates, a human can come and like resolve that issue. So it's a simple product, like not a innovative idea. Like there are 100 companies today doing that. But then I started giving it for free. I started like targeting more niche customers on Reddit, going and targeting. I used to make like, hey, today I'm going to target real estate developers. Today I'm going to target private chefs. Today I'm going to target nail salons. Today I'm going to target this. So I started going on Reddit, Slack, wherever they are, right? Facebook groups, and just messaging or commenting and stuff, and try to sell. The real estate agents, it clicked. I don't know why it clicked. One of them added, he said he referred to another friend, and he did a Reddit post saying that, hey, this is pretty cool, and it's optimized for our real estate use case, where people can come and ask about the apartments that they could rent or apartments they could buy. So it clicked for them. Some people even started using it like chat with PDF. Some lawyers started using it for just uploading the documents and then chatting with those documents, like case laws and everything. They could put the URL of a public like section, and then we used to index on that, and they just use that chat with a URL thing, because chat with PDF was there, but chat with URL was not there. So they thought, hey, maybe I can use this for chatting with my URLs. So that's how it went. At the peak we made close to like $5,000 per month. This is gross, not net. I think net we didn't have high margins because I was giving for free, as well as like I was giving the product cheaper rate than the competitors out there. So I used to make like $1,000 net, and that was good enough. I tried to scale it up, but again I came to the same problem here. The usage is not there. People are not using the chatbots very well. I don't see their problems being solved through these chatbots, the actual end customers. So that again like didn't feel right. Here I'm building a chatbot to add to website, but people are not getting value out of it, and it's not growing at the pace I want it to grow. Maybe then I started losing passion, and I was making more money elsewhere. So I thought I'll pause this for a minute. So today we don't have public signups. We still serve our existing customers, which has shrunken down to like it's close to $1,000 gross today. And net I just make like 15,000 or 20,000. So I'm trying to evaluate a new idea. I have time now to evaluate new idea and like build something that actually reaches that 100,000 ka mark sometime this year or next year.
I think like when Amit, thank you. When you were narrating, there were two things that were running in my mind. One was going after problem, and then we are building something, narrating problem-based learning for such a long time, and it almost felt like a very live validation of what we're trying to build. The second was, did the current education system make us so blunt that we are not able to match the speed of progress that you are saying right now? Those two were the thoughts that were crossing my mind. I don't know what Punit was thinking when he was narrating his story.
No, I think I had a very similar story actually, because I worked in India as well, Hyderabad and Noida, super fast paced, 14 hours a day, 18 hours a day. Like when I was in Noida, it was 18 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
I literally broke my back in the process,
Planet Earth.
but planet Earth, yeah. So, and then just yeah, I was going back to that time when I was the founding engineer, just like you, almost a founding engineer. The product was so new, like I was building literally everything, and the technology we were using was so new that the only documentation was one blog post. So we were looking at the
Okay.
code and figuring out the API ourselves. Like so really like I went back to those times when I was like a lot like Amit. Obviously Amit is a lot more accomplished, like you've done a lot, but yeah, but I also miss that pace, and all the best, like keep, don't lose that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like
um
so sharp. Like that part, like it's like he's just narrating, and then he's also saying that this is where I like messed up. Like I got arrogant here. I started asking double salaries. I'm building here. I'm going there. I'm going back to Doxomo. Just the way that story was narrated, and then the experience. I mean, I don't know if Amit had gone to college, which I think Amit tried for 4 months.
don't go to
I don't.
college, don't go to college.
I don't think it's a good idea.
No, no.
Yeah,
I
don't go
think
to
it's
college.
more hard. If you want to do harder things, don't go to college. I think, and my philosophy has been like do hard things. So that was like I want a hard path for me, and I think that is why I didn't go to college. I think that is at least what I say. I don't know what is the inner
And
thing,
I
but
think
that is what I
the
say.
the follow up advice would be, don't be ashamed that you did not go to college ever. Like people will obviously
Yeah,
try
Yes.
to
yeah,
put
yeah,
you down, especially relatives, all of that. But what you have accomplished at your age, and the level of passion you bring, it's just that sometimes luck happens, right? Like the
Yeah, yeah,
same product could have just clicked, and you could have
yeah.
been somewhere else. So it might just be bad timing, because
Yeah,
and then you did your work. I think you went to communities, you did outreach even for your first job. When people ask me, can you hire me, for example, and especially if it is someone I know through a relative or a friend, or like, like, how do I say it, so recommendation, I always tell them, first apply to 20 other places, and then if they don't give you a job, I will give you a job. Right? Because
yeah,
I don't want anyone to get a job just based on a referral. uh, so fail 20
yeah,
times and come to me. I don't
yeah.
even say 20 times, I just say 5 times at least. You should have that experience of having reached out to 5 people, right? So you did your work, like it's not that you did not do the work. And I think what you can contribute to Nepal's tech ecosystem is just insane at this age. Like
It's insane. Yeah,
I'm just
yeah, 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 yeah. So
forward to
I'm very excited to.
the future Amit Timalsina, who is like, you know doing so much more than today. Already you're doing so much, but like once you become more tech, like business savvy, and
Yeah,
you've found the right co-founder mainly. I think it takes
yeah.
time. It takes time,
It
and
takes time.
and I think one of the things that you mentioned was like you did not want to sell, you wanted the co-founder. That never works. You
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need to sell. That, I think this is one of the mistakes that companies make, is that compartmentalized departments. Right?
yeah.
Which is like, okay, one person can do the selling and I can do the building. That never happens if you're not closing the loop on selling and getting that feedback on the product. And
yes,
if you're not building that feedback, if one person is not doing that feedback loop, or if that feedback loop isn't like two people doing it together, it doesn't it really never works, at least uh, until you've reached a certain level of revenue.
Makes
valid.
sense. I think like when Amit says that one thing, like if you want to do hard stuff, don't go to college. That's great, right? Uh, let's say that there is a topic that I've been thinking about. So we are in Nepal, right? We are not in Bay Area, right? One of the biggest things about degrees is also related to where people go after that. Because to go to, let's say, for example, to a US, on a standard pathway to go to Australia or any other country for that matter, that piece of document plays a big role because that is the
Yeah,
validation, right? So like when you look at yourself, when you look at yours, and when you are looking at working with all these companies, when you have to travel, when you have to go to different kinds of places, have you ever thought that this is going to be a hindrance, or has it ever been a hindrance for you?
I think that is what I meant when I said life is going to be harder. Like this is exactly what I meant, right? Like it's going to be harder. There's no ticket for me to go to US. If I had done a bachelor's, like there was H1B, there was masters, there were so many ways, right, of going to US. Obviously, that will be a hindrance. The only way I can prove is I have to build something, and that works out, and that's my ticket. Simple. And that is what I meant. Like, and that is what I wanted for myself. I didn't want to give myself option to hey, there are other ways. And I don't think I'm never going to go to US to work for someone else. Like if it's a very good founder and if he wants me as a founding engineer, maybe we'll do something. But other than that, I don't see myself always working for someone else. I don't imagine that myself for other myself. And the only way I go there is with my company, and that company needs to fund everything of my in US. So it's going to be hindrance. I'm not. I think that's the factor which stops me from traveling a lot, um, and that's also like I like it. I just want to sit in my room and build, and like I have not tried to go out as much other than India and China, so it has not. I have not seen as a blocker, but I think I know there are going to be blockers, and let them come. I think the way I see it is let them come, and the way I tackle is like I keep on building cool things from here in India, and I know for a fact that something is going to click sometime next few years, and that is my ticket. Like if I can prove that here I'm someone very very important, there's always a ticket for a very important and talented person. That's how I see it.
Intense stuff.
100%.
I'm
I
just
love
like,
that.
I'm just letting that sink in. I don't know. I mean, like, it's just like so refreshing to talk to Amit. Always, it doesn't feel like. I mean, like, age is generally a number, but doesn't feel like it's a 1 year old. The maturity and then uh, the sense that is there above his shoulders is like amazing. Uh, I don't know like how it was built. Were you always like this? Uh, because I mean, like, what's it like? What kind of DNA produces abilities like this so that more people can actually, try to, I wouldn't say replicate, but then in some sense get inspired? Because what you are saying is, what you not just saying, right? Like anyone can be here, like saying that, okay, I want to do stuff, I want to do hard stuff and stuff like that. But then there is a proven track record and the transparency to see through those incidents. That is very rare. I don't know, like, what is the kind of DNA, what people can learn from this? Just that.
You're asking me to reverse engineer myself.
Yeah, in some sense.
I don't know. I think necessity necessity. I was not always like this, obviously. Like I wasn't born like this. I don't think it's a lot to do with DNA. I think it's life circumstances, and it's obviously like a set of random events happened, and that led me to who I am today. Like I don't think I can point back to one thing and say, hey, this was the defining moment. But I think one thing I will say is computers really just caught my attention in fifth grade. Like my father had a cyber. I got an opportunity to play like a cyber cafe. So I got to play games in that cafe. I had a laptop at home at some times. Like sometimes I had laptops at home. I don't know. My father had a cyber, so and sometimes laptops used to be at home. I used to play games again. Today I don't game a lot, but I think that was like this is cool. But I think programming in general, I got to do it in fifth grade in my school. I think no one in that fifth grade is doing coding today except me, and that fifth grade was not huge. It was 11 people. I think 10 people are not doing that today. I think in 11 in that time I realized I was not athletic. uh, I don't know if it's like DNA that didn't make me athletic, but I was not very good at athletic things. I was not very very smart. I didn't become first. I don't think I've ever become first in any classes ever
No, by,
in
by
my
by
whole
now we
life.
know that the traditional education would have failed you anyways. So
Yes, yes,
that
yes,
is not a
yes.
valid metric anyways.
So, but coding that class, that felt like a level playing field to me. And that coding class that happened, and this QBasic, right? Whenever they taught QBasic, at that point, just brain clicked. Any problem the teacher gave, I just solved it one after another, better than anyone else. And hey, I'm not good at anything. This is something that I'm having fun and I'm better at than other people. Then that vacation, right, not like the end of the year vacation before going to sixth grade, I said, here, I have this laptop at home. I'm going to do all the QSC problems out there. So then I go and get like six. I don't think there was no sixth class book I found. I found like 8th, 9th, and 10th grade books. I collected all of them and started solving each and every one of them. It felt so good. I think that whole vacation I was just coding, and it triggered something. Hey, maybe I'm good at this thing, but I didn't have internet, so I didn't. It was not. I didn't have internet. I was just a child, right? I didn't know what was good for me, what was bad for me. I could well have been like a karate player. I don't know, or cricket player. So that was something. And then in eighth grade, I got access to internet. I was playing Clash of Clans with stolen internet. And then I saw something like, hey, you could build web pages. Is also something you do with coding. And that is the first time I thought of it like that. That's interesting. So I started doing HTML, CSS just to build some random web page on my local. Then in ninth grade, fortunately by luck, okay, now this is something we can attribute to maybe. In ninth grade, my father, he knew I liked playing with computers. So there was this is his curriculum. Okay, Nepal government has this where they give 19, 11, 12 a curriculum called technical SCE or technical diploma, which is essentially for computer engineering, civil, forestry, bunch of different streams. You can search it. I think it's called TSE and T diploma in computer engineering. If you complete that entire 4 years, you get diploma in computer engineering. As I was told, I don't know, I never did that. But ninth and 10th, I studied that. This is just complete out of my father just thought maybe this is a good fit, and he put me there. This was a good call because there I got exposure to in my ninth grade. I got exposure to engineering drawing, electrical engineering, fundamental of digital system, so these circuits and gates, C programming, web development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and that just felt like the perfect. And in addition to this 5 6 extra things, we also had math and other things. So we had total 11 subjects, five that everyone else was studying and six that we were only studying. And that gave me that place where I could be truly me. I was doing C programming, I was doing HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I had so much fun that whole 2 years. Uh, Not no one in that whole batch. I think me and my one friend are the only two who is doing software today. For it didn't work out. They should take 48 people ka batch. So 46 people didn't make it or didn't want figured out that this is not for them. But for us too, and more for me than him, I guess, it just felt like the perfect thing. Because I knew the teachers are not going to teach you everything, right? I don't think if that even happens in college, bachelor's. But that gave me a space of like, hey, these are the topics. And that made me Google after going back home and started searching about it. And that early in ninth grade, getting to do C and HTML JavaScript, that helped me figure out that hey, this is something I want to do. And I think my teacher in 10th grade used to say there's something called as Bangalore, and he had studied in Bangalore, and there are startups there and everything. I think that is the subconscious of me figuring out when I was 19 that hey, I want to go to Bangalore because my teacher said that he did his bachelor's in Bangalore and he said cool things about that place. I didn't connect at that time, but I knew Bangalore as a place existed. So that 10th grade teacher who taught me C++, and I used to teach classes, right? At this point in 10th grade, I used to teach. He used to let me give me the chalk and like teach the entire class. I did this so many classes. He just used to chill and relax. Labs, we used to have labs, and I used to do the problem, and then everyone used to copy that problem. Database design, I think 10th grade also has database, DVMS, database management system, C++, hardware stuff started coming. I realized I'm not very good at hardware. I think uh, it just felt like inaccessible because software you just need a laptop, right? Hardware you need Arduino, you need this many things, and just that felt like so much work. And I didn't have money to buy things, so I got stuck with software because it was cheap. I just needed a laptop and internet. I think that was the reason behind why I didn't go and pursue hardware because I was in Budol and things were very hard to get. But that 2 years were the defining moment, is what I will say. Like that gave my whole foundation. And then I was reading tech, but other than tech, I was not reading. Then I went in 11th grade to Sainik, Birendra Sainik, and that was the complete opposite. No internet, no laptop, and the entire time I'm in hostel, 11th grade. I think now that place I was very very fragile. I was teenage mindset, right? Girls and everything, right? I was very distracted. So going there, I saved my hair. They saved my hair and then said, hey, you don't have anything and you just have this room and you can study. It was very hard the first few days. Then I started reading. Now I had this empty space, empty mind, and I started reading. And I read physics. I think physics caught my attention. I've never read to this point. I've never read science. I've just remembered things and passed my exams. I think I was decent at remembering things. So I got like 3.9 some GPA as well just by remembering things. That time gave me like understanding. Hey, this is how you actually understand stuff, is what I realized. Even take, I was not understanding. I was doing it, but not understanding it to the fundamentals. So I started reading friction, acceleration from the fundamentals, like why things are like this. Like we learn formulas, but how did people come to those formulas? How this everything happened, right? I think that led me to AI because AI was very, very challenging. But that ability to understand fundamentals and go in depth and read, I think even today, reading documentations, reading everything, right? I like going and digging things very, very deep. I think that 8 9 months I was there during COVID. After COVID happened, I went back home. But those months were defining because they helped me read. Now everything random, right? So random sequence of events happen and today I am who I am. And then final family things happened, like COVID happened, money was sought. Then I said, hey, maybe I can make money out of this. And that brought scarcity mindset in my head that hey, I need to make money, I need to save it, and I need to be very careful about it. And I don't want my family to struggle with it, and I'm someday going to retire everyone. I'm just going to make my money myself and I'm going to support my family. And I did that at 19, 18, 19. Said, hey, you guys don't need to work anymore. I make so much money. At least at that point it was also so much money. So I think bunch of things happened. Today I'm very scared about spending my money. I have so much in savings. I don't even invest. I need to solve that and start investing. But this is how I see it. Now, how do we connect dots? I don't know, but these were the defining things. Ninth, 10th, and then 11th of space to just study. Now, I don't think anyone can go through this experience. Like, this is for me, but this is how I see it.
Okay. I think it's fascinating. I think this is the first time in 42 minutes we have asked three questions and just listen.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It reminds me of so there is a very small crowd interaction with a comedian by the name of Jimmy Carr,
Yeah.
and the interaction goes, someone in the audience said, "My child is getting bullied. What do I do?" Right? And Jimmy Carr thinks for a moment, and he says, um, two things. One, at least he's not the bully, right? And two, you don't get, you can either build character, you can either live an easy life or build a character, right? You don't get to do both. So I think Amit's case is kind of hard life on hard mode, and that's what
Life on
builds
level five.
character. That's what builds character. So if you live life on easy mode, you skip on building character. So I think that's the essence of I
Yeah.
got from
Yeah, also
from
I
there.
think the also I think the exposure to interest, like that was pretty early on. I mean, like by chance or by anything, but then the exposure to interest was great, and I think because the dots connecting, someone telling that there is something called Bangalore, the QBasic problems, and then you getting joy out of that stuff. I think it happens to everyone, but then I think the our structured process as such that people don't get more. In most cases, people are not accustomed to those kind of accidents that they can actually get to experience that, and probably they get to experience that when they're like 45, 50, 30, 35. Like it's much later, but I think
And
the other.
Alok, I think Amit's story gives me so much joy because a lot of people shit on me for giving programming pro for free in Nepal, right? We give it to colleges, schools, companies, whoever asks it for free. And then a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, why are you giving a product for free? Why are you giving your product for free? And the reason I give it for free in Nepal is maybe someone like Amit will find the product and learn coding from it, and it will change their life, right? It is like me repaying my debt to the country. And then it benefits us. The more programmers, great programmers come out of Nepal, the more brand Nepal grows, the more the world trust program is as a Nepalese product, right? Right now we are in a trust deficit being a Nepali company. I don't want
Yeah.
us to be in a trust deficit for too long. And this is also the reason why we sponsored the AI Conf, and we sponsored Locus, and we sponsored all these events. It's not that we are a rich company, right? Like, uh, like if you look at the kind of silver sponsors, they are the biggies, and then program is this logo. We still invest money into like being the title sponsor or the gold sponsor, because um, because our future really depends on Nepal's ability to brand itself as a credible tech hub or a credible source of tech knowledge, right? So it's just betting on that future, and I'm so glad that so many people bet on Amit, and to get him to where he is right now. Like, I'm so proud of you, brother.
Thank you,
And
sir.
then
Thank you,
this
sir.
so much, such a long journey to go.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I say, right, like I'm 21, but it's been a long journey, and
yeah,
it feels like this is me. Okay, people say that, okay, just relax, you have accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, but this is just the
no,
beginning, right? What Punit said, right? We need to put Nepal on the map. I think we have done decent job so far, and there's so much more to be done. And I want the high quality developers, salespeople, marketers to come out of Nepal, and then we kind of just build that one company, the next company, like how Flipkart happened, right? Flipkart, then so many companies started coming. We need that Flipkart moment, and hopefully Punit will do it, Alok will do it, I will do it, someone else will do it. We'll together benefit, and I think that's the dream. That's the dream. We want to put that thing with Nepal. Like, hey, this is the place where tech companies, billion-dollar tech companies, are being built every year, and I think we can be fully trustful that these guys will build the best products for us as well, even if it's a service company. So that's a dream. That's where I'm walking towards, and it's a long path. So I feel like nothing has happened. It's like
yeah,
very very long path, and we'll get there.
amazing,
And I
amazing.
think
Like,
one of the opportunities with AI right now is the impact that you could have, one person can have on an entire ecosystem, is just
yeah,
massive, right? Like, for example, just Lovable coming out of Sweden put the entire country back on the map.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah,
put all of Europe back on the map as a leader in technology.
yeah,
yes,
Just one company, right? Or one or two,
yes,
or three companies. So it's just
yeah,
insane how fast the narrative can change. Just 3 years back, everybody was like, oh, Europe is so behind, they'll never catch up,
yeah,
it's just Silicon Valley, only American technology is like, nobody no European technology companies never gonna do B2C in like SaaS, or win in
yeah.
SaaS. So all of these narratives are popular, and look today, it's completely changed, right?
But do
So
you
you
think
never
do
know,
we need a
right?
consumer company for that? Did you hear the? Do you think we need a consumer company for that, like a
Yes,
B2C company?
yes, because the Domino's and the Grepsers and the Leapfrogs, right? Like, they can make all the money they want, but they won't be able to inspire someone like Amit who is studying in college, right? Versus a program is, or like a consumer tech company. For example, if you look at India had Zoho,
Yeah,
Malaysia had Grab, Indonesia had Gojek, every Singapore has Hrefs and like few companies, but every country that has grown in tech has these kind of aspirational B2C company that starts from one and then expands in the neighborhood, or expands globally, and just uh, creates this kind of school of entrepreneurship inside, right?
yeah.
um,
Because I think
and the
I think it's just a matter of possibility, right? Like once it is done, then I think the community's human like brain wire starts functioning very differently. Like, and then it's possible like he could do it, I could do it as well. But I think like that I think that is one of the blueprint that I don't see here in the ecosystem for sure, like very sporadically. And I think that is probably one of the reasons why, like, I really think like for us to really capture the opportunity in the next 3-4 years, I think a lot of people have to come together, work very close knit, so that we can something might come out, like, I mean, like, I'm building tangible, you're building program, is Amit is building something. I know all of us won't succeed. It is not going to be possible. But then, like, all of us will like bet on something, and something will go off. And in that process, everyone who did not succeed will probably just learn a lot and then build something else. And I think like that is the kind of mindset we would probably need a lot more for us to really go up. Because like before Flipkart in India, there were there were startups, but then like no one was like really seeing it, like at that level. And look at it right now, like. And recently when I was in Hyderabad, the only unicorn from Hyderabad, I forgot the name, is an HR tech company. um, I mean, like, the way they were
Fresh work.
celebrating that startup. No, no, not fresh work. It's something else. And like there's only one unicorn right now from Hyderabad, and then the way they are celebrating that Darwin Box, the way they are celebrating that company in the tech ecosystem over there, the way they are talking about it, the way the founders communicate with the ecosystem, it's just amazing. Like if those that kind of energy could actually be there in the Nepalese tech ecosystem as well. And then if we could move beyond the mindset of building software for someone else, as Amit said, there's a long journey for there. But then with AI, I think we have the it won't take like 15 years. I think that can be a lot more faster.
If I could add one
Can
more
be a lot
point to
more
Alok,
faster. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
what Alok said,
Yeah.
um, outsourcing, tech outsourcing is getting the biggest challenge it has ever achieved,
yeah,
received now, right, in history
yeah,
with AI.
yeah, yeah,
Um, at least the traditional labor arbitrage,
yeah.
tech outsourcing. And I think maybe that's a good thing because
I think
me,
that's a great thing.
I'm talking to founders of these outsourcing companies, and finally they are thinking product because they have no option. They're like, uh,
Yeah.
because they
But
don't
I
they
see any
have
other.
will
I
they
have
will
a
not do products unless they have options, like unless and until they have options they will not do products. It's not
I
in
s-
their DNA, and they will not pursue it at all because they already have a money making machine, right? They don't want to
yeah,
disrupt that and put resources which don't make money and bet on it.
for
It's
a
just not
considerable
in their
time.
DNA.
Yeah, yeah,
So that is what I figured after joining this services company is like, hey, I go and say why not build products, and that's what they say. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is,
and it's fair to them. Like,
it's
why
fair. Yeah.
should they take that risk? Like,
Yeah.
obviously we are a risk avoidance culture in
yeah,
Yeah.
general. Individually, every human is risk avoidance. And in Nepal, in general, as a culture, we are very avoiding of risks. So that is why I think tech outsourcing has flourished. Is because it's relatively. I mean, there are risks. Obviously, I'm not trying to say that tech outsourcing is easy in any way, but at least you're not taking the business risk, right?
yeah,
You get paid even if the business, like the business that gave you business, doesn't work out.
Yeah.
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 No, but I think the other problem that I see with that is that with AI and the labor arbitrage scenario not working, the even the software development as such, or technology development as such, is evolving a lot, and a lot going towards understanding the business logic, which I think is a core competency that we do not have in the ecosystem as such. And I don't think there is any way to nurture it, because obviously organizations are getting transformed, business logics are getting rewritten. So there will obviously be space for people to build technology for other companies. I don't see that going away. But then the capability of doing that in the ecosystem, I think, is a lot less. I mean, like, everyone won't build products, and probably they don't need to as well. But then just the evolution of technology building is changing so much that I think we are not equipped at all. Because uh, we have these like reports and everything where we see that like the we're going to make so much money out of tech industry and stuff like that. But then the real problem is in capability, and I think like that is not getting nurtured for sure. Just time check now, time check how long we can go more. uh,
I have to go,
okay.
but you guys can continue. I think this is a great conversation. I think Amit deserves some more time. It's like,
Amit
uh,
deserves some more time, but then if Amit allows, uh, I don't see we'll be able to even extract a lot out of what is had to share in just like in half an hour more. It would be great to have Amit back again sometime, in a few months, to talk about what is building then, and how, because I think in 3 months Amit would be somewhere else altogether. So I think probably that's a better way to go about
Yeah,
it.
I
What do
think
you think, Amit? Is that okay?
we didn't do justice to Amit.
No, I think this is completely justified. Yeah, I think we can do again soon, and we can talk in depth again.
I
Something,
mean, like
something.
that's the beauty of this, right? We
Yeah,
are not building a podcast so that we are like presenting as something. It's just like sitting and
yeah,
having a chat and recording it. And I think like people have tons of value to get out of this, like this 50 minutes
And
that
in
we
fact,
record.
Alok, like this was the point where I derailed your direction, right? Like
Derail a
Alok
direction.
was doing fancy podcast setup, right? And I'm like, bro, this is just too much effort. You know, the kind of guest that you want to bring, the high quality guest you want to bring, uh, you will be limited in the guests you can bring to the podcast if you do that
Yeah,
fancy kind of physical setup. It's not that
yeah,
it's a bad thing,
yeah,
but it, you will be very extremely limited if we do just from our home
yeah,
and in our spare time. We will be able to get like high quality guests into the podcast. So
yeah.
this was when
Absolutely.
we had that car phase where
No, no,
I
I
remember
think
that. Yeah,
it's also my problem, also my journey, right? Let's say January 2025, I had no idea of content, like just no idea of content, how to build it, how to record, how to distribute it. I had no idea. Right now, also, I think there is a lot of learning to do, but then the amount of impact just doing this has had on my business is just like massive. So I think like
really.
yeah, 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 of course.
Where's my commission?
I mean, like we are doing it together, but then the thing is, I I think
There has been no
I
impact
just
on my business. How is it fair that you're getting
that
all the
that's a
business benefits and I'm
that's a
getting
trans that,
all the what do you call? I'm getting scolded on TikTok. I'm getting negative comments on TikTok, and
that's a
you're the one getting business.
translation issue. No, I mean,
I,
I think
Amit,
I think
what Alok is saying, he's saying, I'm sorry, I'm just a language model.
no, no, I think I have a pretty healthy followers to revenue ratio at this point of time. For sure.
wow.
Amit, learn something. Learn something.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely, Amit. Like such a pleasure to have you and talk to you for an hour. Look forward to more. And thank you so much. Like very grateful for this time that you spent with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I think it's more thank you to you guys. Yeah,
Okay.
for
Awesome.
trusting in a
Awesome.
21-year-old.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna stop recording now. Yeah.